Something funny that I always like to mention to people is that me, MatPat, and FNaF all believed Gregbot when Security Breach came out, and completely separately.
I really firmly believe that Gregory is a robot. I really strongly think that he is the crying child rebuilt.
I have a theory that Gregory might be the crying child.
When MatPat's first Security Breach theory came out, I was disappointed because in his video he mentioned literally every single piece of evidence I was planning to use on my video for it, and even more that I didn't think of.
A rebuilt version of the crying child. Flame shields activate because it's time for everyone's favorite segment.
But also bad for me because that's my theory. So I ended up scrapping the video. But then the very next day I actually stopped believing it. Nowadays I think it's very possible, but I'm planning to do a video in the future looking at all the evidence to try and find a definitive answer. That's not really relevant to this theory, I just kind of wanted to mention it because it's kind of funny. Some of my first theories from after Security Breach came out partially focused on the staff bots and their connections around Elizabeth Afton and Charlotte Emily. And today I wanted to talk about that again and do a rehash of all the ideas I had and all the evidence I can think of. This is actually going to be a 3-part series of me revisiting some of the interesting theories I had when Security Breach first came out. This one will be about the mystery of the staff bots, the next one will be about Burntrap and the Blob, and the last one will be about coming to a conclusion on Gregory and Glamrock Freddy's identities. The reason I wanted to do this is because of some of my opinions on certain topics changing since then, and also because Tales from the Pizzaplex has now begun and we have some new information, specifically from Frailty, Under Construction, and the Epilogue. Poor Lally's game. This video might not be all that long because the evidence is pretty straightforward, but I'll try to explain as well as I can. But anyways, I think it's time that we get started on talking about the staff bots. I feel like the staff bots are really overshadowed and overlooked in this game simply because there's a lot of other stuff in the game, but honestly, I think there's some of the most interesting things in the game. The Nightmare staff bots were apparently important enough to have been teased at the end of the Security Breach trailer and also in Freddie and Friends on tour. So what's going on here? I feel like the designs of the staff bots are really what gave me first ideas on what they could be. When the first Freddie and Friends on tour teaser came out, I had no idea what the glitch face could be until Ozone made a video where he mentioned that it looked a lot like Nightmarionne.
Another person I think it does look like, or another animatronic I think it does look like, is Nightmarionne, which is really strange, right? You can see it when I say it, you can see it now. It does look a little bit like Nightmarionne.
And that was when I was interested. It gave me the idea that maybe the puppet could still be around by the time of Security Breach, which I think at this point is almost certain, but it's unclear where. But is it possible that she's in the staff bots? There's quite a few Nightmarionne connections in Security Breach. There's some on the arcades, there's a lot of plushies around of Nightmarionne, there's the Nightmare staff bots designs looking exactly like Nightmarionne's face, and there's the tentacles in the Blob, when the only other tentacles we've seen in the series were from Nightmarionne in FNaF VR, and from the puppet herself in You're the Band. That got me really interested. But it got a lot more interesting when I noticed something about the designs of the staff bots after playing Security Breach. Take a look at the staff bots here. Reddish cheeks, blue tear tracks, and some of the bots are actually security bots. The staff bots are the puppet. The puppet, of course, has bluish-purple tear tracks and red cheeks. The puppet was originally the security puppet made to protect Charlotte, which failed and Charlotte died. In the security puppet minigame, the puppet gains its tear tracks from being possessed by Charlotte. Considering the staff bots have tear tracks like the puppet, is it possible they are possessed by Charlotte too? In each episode of Freddie and Friends on Tour, the song sung at the end of the episode ties into the secret in the episode. In episode 2, the song mentions the sun setting and the moon shining. Then we get a teaser of sun and moon.
We're hopping into the jalopy, gonna go for a ride to the pizza shop with our friends. We're jumping and rocking till the sun goes down, and the moon is shining forever and ever, forever and ever.
Episode 3 talks about rocking and rolling with our friends and eating and stuff like that. The end of the episode shows DJ Music Man, which ties into the rocking and rolling.
We're rocking and rolling, our friends are all here. Got our ice cream sundaes and ho-hos. We're diving into pizzas and burgers with cheese. Keep the french fries coming forever and ever.
And also in that episode, there are the glitch images of Roxy and more specifically, Chica, who is obsessed with food. The final episode talks a lot about playing and bringing our buddies, which ties into the Vanny tease at the end since she's usually skipping around and she's supposed to be appealing to kids so she can lure them.
We're bringing all our buddies, it's time for a jam. Gonna play till our worries are gone. Picking up the music and rocking along. We just keep playing forever and ever, forever and ever and ever.
Are you having fun yet?
Bringing all our buddies is an interesting line because it ties into the first teaser for Security Breach where we hear Vanny telling Gregory that his friends are worried about him, which the buddies could be referencing.
Gregory, your friends are worried about you. They're here with me. Why don't you come out and we can play a game together?
So this all makes it really interesting that the first episode references turning up the music and this band rocking forever and ever. The fact that we see a blob tentacle at the end could be saying that the Missing Kids, the original band, is rocking forever because they're not free yet.
Hey everybody, put the radio on. Time to throw our troubles away. Hey, hey, we're turning up the music, we're having a ball. This band keeps rocking forever and ever, forever and ever.
The music references very much seem to connect to the puppet, which could either be saying that the blob is the puppet, the Nightmare staff bots are the puppet, or both. I bet you guys are wondering why in that case would Charlotte be attacking Gregory, someone who looks shockingly similar to her best friend, which also could be argued if the puppet is in the blob. But consider the fact that in the fourth closet and in Sister location, the spirits of the missing kids are split up between multiple bodies, which made them still aware but a lot less aware and more confused than they were before. If Charlotte's spirit was split up between maybe 100 staff bots, you'd bet that she would be confused. You may think the Nightmare staff bots wouldn't make sense because Nightmarionne is actually a Halloween replacement for Nightmare, not the puppet. I mean, it is a version of the puppet, obviously, but it's actually Nightmare, reskinned, obviously. You can even hear Nightmare and Nightmarionne's jump scare scream in the background of the Nightmare staff bots, almost 100% confirming that Nightmarionne and these staff bots are the same entity, or at least closely entwined. But in the arcade machines, we see Nightmarionne together with the puppet and the security puppet, tying them together, meaning Nightmarionne is more heavily associated with being a puppet than a Nightmare replacement, especially since Nightmare and Nightmarionne both appear in Ultimate Custom Night separately. The Princess Quest ending shows the staff bots being deactivated after we destroy Glitchtrap, meaning Glitchtrap has infected all of these. Vanny is possessed by Glitchtrap and is basically his servant. He still needs her, and we know that if he has to, Afton can make the animatronics go against their programming. So why do the staff bots rip apart Vanny in the alternate Vanny ending? Gregory told them to, yeah, but we know that Glitchtrap could have stopped them from doing that, and probably would have. So then why do they kill Vanny unless there's another entity in these staff bots? Even if they're not aware, it would make sense that someone else is here, and that someone could very well be the puppet. You're probably wondering, well, if the puppet is in the staff bots, how did she get there? Well, in Help Wanted and Special Delivery, it is revealed that circus boards from either the old wrecked FNAF 6 animatronics or pieces of the animatronics scanned onto the circuit boards were used to make both the Freddy Fazbear Virtual Experience and also the newer animatronics, including the FNAF AR animatronics and the Glamrock animatronics. It's very possible that the circuit boards being scanned into the staff bots actually scanned Charlotte's spirit into them in the process. In Help Wanted, Hand Unit also tells us that for the VR game, the development team tried to make it as authentic as possible by scanning circuit boards from certain animatronics into the game to make the in-game version of that character act like they normally would.
We went to great lengths to create an authentic VR experience, including using scanned photographs for reference and using original performance routines where applicable. Using proprietary technology developed by Fazbear Entertainment, our VR development teams were able to use vintage control boards almost like plug and play, digitally recreating performances and personalities from the past in an instant.
Considering everything around the Pizzaplex that is based on something from the past, it wouldn't be far-fetched that they scanned a security puppet with tears and red cheeks into a security bot with tears and red cheeks. And it also wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that they used an animatronic who was designed to make ice cream to be at the ice cream parlor. In Bonnie Bowl, we can actually find Circus Baby designed staff bots behind the counter in the ice cream parlor. Is it possible that they actually scanned Circus Baby's circuit boards into these staff bots? Guys, is it possible that Elizabeth is actually in the Circus Baby staff bots? In the flesh, we see that if code is no longer able to do what it is programmed to do, it kind of just does whatever else it can in order to replicate its original programming. When the VR Springtrap found no one to kill when killing was its only purpose, he literally spawns new versions of himself, and that new one killed him, then spawned another one, and the new one killed the old, and so on about 500,000 more times that night, causing a tremendous amount of agony to be produced. In Security Breach, we do see a lot of old staff bots that had been disposed of and thrown underground. What if one of the bots had become defective and was thrown into what is now the sticky note room? As this bot could not do what it was programmed to do, it ended up kind of just doing nothing, using sticky notes to ask why it exists if it can't do the one thing it's programmed to do, give people ice cream. It started to learn English, where it writes very strangely, sometimes about the ice cream it was always supposed to give people, trying to replicate that it's supposed to serve ice cream, so, just like kind of thinking about the ice cream and writing about it. And there's also numerous colors mentioned in the sticky notes as well, specifically red, yellow, blue, and green. These are all the colors of the lights in the Circus Gallery control module. One note says, "All for me." In sister location, Elizabeth says to William,
"Daddy just once let me go play with her. She's so pretty and shiny. Didn't you make her just for me?"
There's also some mentions of birthdays, and one of Circus Baby's lines is,
"It feels like my birthday. Did you have a gift for me?"
Hey guys, Evan from the future here in editing. Something I noticed when I was looking at the sticky notes to add them into the editing, into the video while I'm editing, something I noticed was that Elizabeth also says,
"Daddy, she can make balloons. Have you seen her make balloons? Oh, Daddy, let me go to her."
And on the sticky notes, you could see that she draws a lot of balloons. Another thing about these balloons is that they also represent all the dead kids. In Happiest Day, there's 16 balloons, each balloon representing a child, which we know considering the balloons rise up as the spirits are set free. So there's 16 kids, plus Elizabeth, that would be 17, and in total, if you count up all the balloons, there's 17. Just wanted to add that in. This bot is starting to remember who it is. It's Elizabeth. She also writes stuff that seems to say Afton family, draws pictures of 2 boys and 1 girl, 100% referencing the bite victim Mike and herself, and draws a picture of a house with arrows pointing around it in a similar way that we see the path to Fredbear's from the Afton house. Elizabeth's house. This staff bot becomes more aware of who it is and takes note of it. She remembers her family and being happy with her family, which causes her to now want to bring the family back together. But unable to do that, she literally took other disposed staff bots and turned them into her family. Eventually, this Elizabeth staff bot gets out and becomes the game universe's equivalent of Eleanor. She stalks Vanessa, kills people, uses illusion discs to look more human, collects and creates remnant and a heart-shaped pendant. She sets up the future of the series. Eleanor, or some game timeline equivalent, or just Elizabeth Afton in a new body, is still loyal to her father and will even kill people to make him proud. And that is what she's setting out to do. Going to therapy as the mysterious Patient 46 and setting the future into motion. This could be why the puppet and Circus Baby both don't have eyes glowing in the blob. Maybe they're here in the blob and just not haunting their masks, or maybe it's because their spirits are somewhere else. If this theory sounded familiar, it might be because my friend Shadow Libra made a theory similar to this not too long ago. But that's because he got the theory idea from my videos from January. But what do you guys think? Are you interested in the staff bots and their possible lore? Let me know in the comments and tell me if you do agree with this theory. But if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to. My next theory will either be on Burn Trap and the Blob or Into the Pit, so stay tuned for those when they come out. But anyways, I will see you all later.